and welcome to Ivy English. I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is the 20th of May, and we're discussing jellyfish, beautiful and dangerous.
我们的中文标题是美丽的水母，迷人且危险。
Okay, let's just jump into the article because it's fun. Jellyfish are badly named. They are neither a fish nor made of jelly. Instead, their bodies are made up of 95% water and 5% solid matter. They have been in existence for at least 500 million years. Hence, they are older than dinosaurs. Surprisingly, they don't have a brain, a heart, or lungs. You may wonder how they can possibly survive without these vital organs, but everything is for the best. They don't have lungs because their skin is so thin that they can absorb oxygen through it. They don't need a heart to pump blood because they don't have any. And they have a nerve net, which is sensitive to touch, below their outer skin. They respond to the changes in their environment using signals from the nerve net, so they don't need a brain to process complex thoughts. Their variety is nearly endless. Most of them are umbrella-shaped and have tentacles. Some jellyfish have very long tentacles. However, they never get tangled up or sting themselves. That's because the tentacles are very slippery and will only sting other animals. Most jellyfish have little or no vision, but they can detect light and ocean currents, which helps them to navigate and move. A few species can also recognize color and have a 360-degree view of their environment. Jellyfish come in all sizes, from 0.5 millimeters to the giant Nomura's jellyfish, which can measure up to 2 meters in diameter and weigh over 200 kilograms. While jellyfish are beautiful, they can also be dangerous. Some jellyfish toxins can be deadly to humans, such as those from the box jellyfish and the Australian Irukandji, but deaths are relatively rare given the number of jellyfish sting victims every year. In any case, it's better to stay out of the way of any jellyfish you may see. You can go swimming with dolphins, but you definitely want to think twice before swimming with jellyfish. So when I was 12, I went with my family on a trip, and we were at the Atlantic Ocean. I don't remember exactly where, somewhere between New York and Maine. And we were about to go into the water, and we met a guy on the beach. And the guy's like, oh yeah, you should be careful, there's jellyfish out there. And we're like, okay, but we're not ocean people, so we didn't know what that meant. And he saw that we didn't know what it meant. And he's like, it's like this, I got stung last week, and it's all right, you won't die, but it did feel like I had a frying pan on my arm for 4 hours. A hot frying pan on his arm for 4 hours. And I was like, I'm not going in.
Yeah. 好，所以这个 Angel 老师说，他12岁的时候有一次跟家人到海边去玩啊，那个是大西洋的海岸边啊，大概是美国缅因州纽约那一带的海岸边。然后呢，他们碰到一个人啊，那个人跟他讲说，你们小心哦，这个现在海里面有水母哦。那 Angel 老师说他们不知道那什么意思哈，所以因为他们不是常常去海边，所以他们大概不以为意。那个人看到他们不以为意呢，他就补充一下说，也没什么关系啊，你被水母蛰到之后呢，我上礼拜被蛰到，然后呢有4个小时的时间，我的手感觉起来好像被一个很烫的那个锅子平底锅烫到那种感觉，那种灼热的感觉啊，4个小时。好，那这样子的话Angel 老师他就懂了，好，所以他们就 Angel 老师说，那我就不要下去了那种感觉啊，那个很不舒服的 ，yeah.
Right, it's like you won't die, but you feel like you'll want to die for about 4 hours.
对啊，你那个不会死啦，死不了人啊，但是那4个小时里面你会觉得生不如死 ，yeah.
But actually, the jellyfish that I've encountered around Taiwan swimming, they're very tiny, and when it brushes your skin, it feels like your whole body goes zzz, like you touched electricity.
好像电到那种感觉
And it just goes away, but then that part of your skin is itchy or a little sore for about another hour.
哦，所以 Angel 老师他在台湾碰到的水母都比较小，好，那感觉被他们蛰到了，感觉起来好像是被电到那种感觉，好，然后好像就那个电的感觉就没有了，但是差不多接下来会1个小时左右呢，这个皮肤上面会留下痕迹，会肿啊，会红啊等等的，好，那当然就要看你对哪一种水母蛰到了。
Yeah, it does matter. And I mean, in Bali, it was they were bigger, but it was more or less the same effect. So, I don't know.
Yeah. 那 Angela 说她在巴黎也碰过那个水母哈，那比较大一点啊，但是那个产生的效果大概跟台湾的水母差不多。
I don't go out of my way to run into jellyfish, just so you know. But sometimes when you're swimming in the ocean,
sounds like it.
Sometimes when you're swimming in the ocean, you're just minding your own business, and a jellyfish is minding their own business, and you all just run into each other.It was not intentional in any of those cases.
所以这个 Angela 说，他不是说到哪边的海边就去找那里的水母啊，而是说在海里面游泳啊，那个水母也在游泳啊，那可能你们两个人不小心碰到那个路线重叠啊，就会碰到水母了。
The jellyfish is just as unhappy as you are because they wasted their toxin on something they couldn't eat. They're like,
yeah.
What a waste.
Yeah, 水母也蛮挫折的，它蛰到你也蛮挫折的，因为它没有办法吃你啊，那等于它就把它的那个毒素浪费掉了。
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. They don't really have brains. I don't think they really think. I think they just react. They're more like robots than living organisms. They just have reactions. I don't know. Does a jellyfish think?
Yeah, 应该是没有，因为 they don't have a brain 啊，
Yeah.
他们没有头脑，所以文章里面也有讲到，他们其实不是有意要去蛰你，他们是反应啊，他们是对外界环境的改变产生反应啊，那就这样蛰到你了。
But what is a brain but a neural network? And a jellyfish is a neural network. What if the whole jellyfish is its own brain? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 那是另外一个看法，就是它虽然没有脑这个器官啊，但是脑其实就是一个神经的一个 network 啊，但是我们文章会看到 jellyfish 他们全身就是一个神经系统啊，所以你也可以说他们全身就是一个脑。Yeah.
That makes things worse somehow.
Yeah. 听起来更恐怖了。Yeah.
Okay, I'm just imagining all these poisonous brains floating around in the ocean, thinking their thoughts. Okay, let's go into the article. Jellyfish are badly named. This is such a classic Bruce joke. Let me read the whole thing together. Jellyfish are badly named. They are neither a fish nor made of jelly.
所以这个水母或者英文这个字 jellyfish 啊 ，jellyfish 这个字呢 are badly named， 这个名字取得不好 are badly named， 因为呢水母啊或者 jellyfish 它们是 neither a fish， 它不是鱼啊，所以它的名字里面有一个 jellyfish， 所以但它又不是鱼。那 nor made of jelly 哈 nor are they made of jelly 哈，那他们也不是果冻制成的啊，所以你叫它 jellyfish， 这个就英文来讲，这个名字取得不好。
But they're gelatinous.
啊，但是其实Angela 讲到，但其实他们看起来好，有一点像这个jelly 那种感觉啊，好像那个果冻的感觉，看起来像果冻啊，所以大概就是因为这样给它取的这个 jellyfish。
They look so touchable.
感觉起来好像很好摸那种感觉。
The best thing I ever saw was in some fish museum. Maybe it was in Japan, where they had a vertical case of jellyfish. And they circulated the water such that the jellyfish just kept going up past the window, and they probably went down in another part of the tank. And so and they lit it blue, and the jellyfish were white. It looked like this abstract art piece of just jellyfish endlessly streaming up past your eyes. And they were about hand-sized. I don't know, like they're very elegant.Yeah,
其实水母可以是很漂亮的啊。那这个Angela 老师说，他可能应该是在日本吧啊，一个水族馆里面曾经看到过这个水母的展示啊。那他们有安排在那个水缸里面有那个水流啊，所以使得这个水母上上下下的这样子好，然后用灯光照明照起来就很漂亮。
Yeah. Okay, but so they're not fish, they're not made of jelly. Instead, their bodies are made up of 95% water.And 5% solid matter.
好，所以 instead 就他们不是鱼，也不是果冻制成的，而是什么呢？这 instead 就表示而是的意思。那他们的身体是 are made up of 是由 95% 的水，还有 5% 的 solid matter 就是固体的物质所组成的。
For comparison, us human beings are about 60% water.
那我们人体大概是 60% 的水。
So they, meaning jellyfish, have been in existence for at least 500 million years. If you have been in something, you are inside that thing. And what are they inside? They're in existence. They have been living. They have been in a state of living or of being.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say this. For at least 500 million years. Another way to say it is they've been around for 500 million years for 500 million years? Jellyfish are old.
Yeah, 所以 they 就是指这个水母啊 have been in existence 就是存在的意思。那另外一个说法你可以说 they have been around. 那存在多久了呢？至少有5亿年了。
Hence, they are older than dinosaurs. Wow, that is a claim.
Yeah, 因此呢，它们比恐龙还要古老。
Surprisingly, well, not surprisingly considering how old they are, because the older you are, the less likely you are to have these things. But surprisingly to us who are used to who can't live without them, they don't have a brain, a heart, or lungs. If you as a person did not have any of these things, you are dead. But they don't have any of these things, and they've been alive for 500 million years.
好，所以 surprisingly 就是令人很讶异的是，他们没有脑，也没有心脏，也没有肺脏。
So you may wonder how they can possibly survive without these vital organs. Like, how are they still alive if they are without these vital organs? If something is vital, it is important for life. More than important, it's necessary for life. If you don't have it, you are not alive. So these are vital organs to a human. But everything is for the best. This is a very funny thing to say here. If you say everything is for the best, that's usually what you say to comfort somebody who's been through a bad situation. Everything is for the best. It'll all work out. So why are we saying this about jellyfish? I think it's because jellyfish are, our emotions towards jellyfish are ambiguous. So they can live without these vital organs, but everything is for the best. They're fine anyways.
好，所以呢，这个 everything is for the best 啊，通常其实是用来安慰别人的，哈，就是哎呀没关系啦，哈。那所以在这里好像我们对于 jellyfish 我们的态度是 ambiguous 啊，就是既爱又恨哈。那在这里感觉起来他说啊，你没有心没有脑啊，这个啊其实也没关系啦啊，这种感觉啊。
Yeah.
那所以我们来看这个句子一开头啊，他说 You may wonder， 你可能会好奇，会想知道 how can they 或者 how they can possibly survive， 他们是如何能够存活下来 without these vital organs， 没有这些维生重要的器官，那他们是怎么存活下来的？ Vital 就是非常重要，重要到跟你生命交关，就是没有会死的，这叫 vital。所以 vital organs 就是我们维持生命的一些重要的器官。
So they don't have lungs because their skin is so thin that they can absorb oxygen through it. So basically their skin is their lungs. They don't need lungs because they already got something that works like lungs.
好，那他们没有肺，好，为什么呢？因为他们的皮肤非常的薄 ，it's so thin， 薄到什么程度呢？ They can absorb oxygen， 他们可以吸收氧气 through it， 那个 it 就指 skin， 他们可以透过他们的皮肤直接呼吸，直接吸收氧气。
They don't need a heart to pump blood to make blood move through their system because they don't have any. They don't have blood. Why don't they have blood? They don't need blood. They're absorbing oxygen through their skin. What's the purpose of blood in your body? It's to take oxygen from your lungs to the rest of your body. Their body's already getting all the oxygen they need. They don't need blood. They don't need a circulation system. So they definitely do not need a heart.
好，所以他们不需要一个心脏来 pump， 就是灌入或者输出气体或者是液体。好，例如说你可以 pump air into a bicycle tire， 好，那个脚踏车的那个轮胎你是把气体打进去，就是用 pump 这个字。那在这里 pump blood 就是这个输送血液啊。那他们不需要心脏来输送血液，为什么呢？他们 they don't have any， 他们没有任何的血，他们不用血，因为血其实主要的功能之一就是要输送氧气嘛。那他们皮肤可以直接呼吸的，那自然就不需要血了。
And they have a nerve net, which is sensitive to touch below their outer skin. So they have a distribution of connected nerves throughout their skin. It's a neural net. But the reason why Bruce said nerve net is that to say something has a neural net has kind of got a different meaning now that we've got neural nets in technology. To say something has a neural net implies some level of intelligence, ability to compute, or awareness. And we don't know if jellyfish have any of these things. So the simplest way to say it is they have a net of nerves.
好，那英文里面也有 neural net 这样的一个说法哈 ，N-E-U-R-A-L 哈 neural net， 但是 neural net 通常跟智力有关系啊。那如果你讲 nerve net， 那就是跟你的神经反应有关系啊。所以这里讲到说，他们有一个怎么样？有一个 nerve net， 就是有一个神经网路。那这个神经网路，他说 which is sensitive to touch。To be sensitive to 就是对什么很敏感，所以他们的神经网路呢，对触觉或者对接触到什么东西会很敏感。那这个神经网路是在哪里呢？是 below their outer skin， 在他们外皮下面啊。那中间这一对的这个 dash 好 which is sensitive to touch 就是只是补充讯息进去而已。
Now what's interesting here is you're thinking, well, why are they bothering with the dash when you could just use commas? But if you put a comma after touch, and then you go into below their outer skin, the below their outer skin would have to be about touch because that's the thing just before the comma. So to make sure that we're talking about the nerve net is below the outer skin, we have to put the sensitive to touch bit between dashes to completely separate it from the sentence so that we know that below their outer skin is talking about the net and not about touch.
好，所以这个地方为什么它不用逗点呢？因为如果你用一对逗点的话呢，那 touch 跟 below 之间只有一个逗点隔开，那它们之间的关系就不是那么清楚啊。所以你用 dash 的话呢，就可以很清楚的看出来，这个其实是帮助读者很清楚的看出来说 which is sensitive to touch 这个字插入的一个部分。
So they respond to the changes in their environment using signals from the nerve net. So the nerves go, oh, water cold here, oh, feeling here, and they just move based on these signals. So they don't need a brain to process complex thoughts. If you process something, it means you take information, move it around, and turn it into a new or smaller concept. Something like you process means you change the information or the thing that you're processing somewhat. So if you process tomatoes into jam, you start off with tomatoes, you end up with jam. If you process signals into a thought, you start off with signals and you end up with a thought. So they don't need a brain to process complex thoughts because they just have simple responses.
好，所以这里呢 they respond to 就是他们对什么有反应，对 the changes in their environment 他们对于他们环境里面的改变会有反应啊。那怎么反应呢？ using 用的是 signals 一些信号，那这个信号是怎么样？是来自于 the nerve net 来自于他们这个神经网路的讯号。好，那因为他们是这样反应对于周遭的环境的反应，所以呢他们不需要一个 brain 一个头脑来 process 来处理complex thoughts 复杂的思考。
Their variety is nearly endless. Variety means the different types of something. And so they've got so many different kinds. I just saw a recent deep sea jellyfish. It looks like fireworks.
很漂亮的哈。所以呢 their variety 水母它们的品种的不同各种各样不同的品种呢是 nearly 几乎是 endless 无限的。
Most of them are umbrella shaped, which is, yes, it's true. That's funny. Why do they like being umbrella shaped? And they have tentacles. This part is easier to explain because the tentacles is how they fish and eat.
那大多数的水母 them 就指水母呢，它们是 umbrella shaped 就是雨伞形状形状是像雨伞，然后它们有这个 tentacles 就是触角。
Some jellyfish have very long tentacles. We're talking 2 or 3 meters.
好，那有一些水母呢，它们的触角非常长，可能2-3公尺。
However, they never get tangled up. That is something I've always wondered about. Like string gets tangled, but their tentacles never do. And it's not like they have muscles in them or anything. And they don't get tangled up and they don't sting themselves. Can they sting other jellyfish?
Yeah, we have to ask them. 那这个 sting 就是蛰伤或者是刺伤所以这个他们的触角可以很长，但是他们的触角从来不会 get tangled up 不会缠在一起，也不会刺到他们自己。
And that's because the tentacles are very slippery. Slippery. They slide easily past each other. They don't get stuck on each other. They don't have friction. And they will only sting other animals. They don't sting themselves because they're immune to their own sting.
那为什么呢？因为这些触角呢是非常的滑 slippery 而且只会蛰其他的动物它们不会蛰自己。
Most jellyfish have little or no vision. So they have a very limited vision, but they do have vision, which means they do have brains. Sorry, I'm still stuck on jellyfish brains here. Anyways, but even though their vision is very, very limited, they can detect, they can understand light. They understand when something is light and dark, and they understand ocean currents, like the direction of the water. And this is really, really important because if you navigate in the ocean, those are the two things you have. You know how bright it is, and you know where the water is going. And so these two things help them navigate, figure out where they're going, and move.
好，那所谓大多数的水母呢 have little vision， 那就是视力不佳。那如果是 have no vision， 就是完全看不到啊，所以他们要么就是视力不好，要么就完全看不到。但是他们可以 detect， 他们可以侦测到 light 光线，也可以侦测到 ocean current， 就是洋流啊。那这样的一个能力呢，可以帮助他们 navigate 导航或者是确定方向，然后呢 move 移动。
A few species can also recognize color and have a 360-degree view of their environment.
那有几种的水母呢，可以 recognize 辨认颜色啊，而且呢有360度的视野啊，那 of their environment， 也就是他们可以360度的看到他们的环境。
Jellyfish come in all sizes. There's a jellyfish for everybody. All sizes, all colors, all tastes. No, it's very funny. It sounds like we're selling jellyfish to you. Jellyfish come in all sizes. If something comes in something, it means it's provided in that. So if you say this sweater comes in 2 colors, it means there's 2 colorways for you to choose for the sweater. And that's why it sounded like commercial language to me, because when you say something comes in something, it means that we're providing you this version. But, you know, you can also use it for things like jellyfish and natural things. So jellyfish are all sizes. They come in all sizes from 0.5 millimeters, or you could also say 0.5 millimeters, to the giant Nomura's jellyfish. And this dude can measure up to 2 meters in diameter. We're talking about the umbrella part of it, not even talking about its tentacles. Geez, I'm just thinking about not running into this guy. And weigh over 200 kilograms. That would probably kill you if you ran into this guy.
Yeah, 所以非常巨大啊。那这个句子他说水母呢 come in all sizes， 这个就是中文所讲的，它有各种的大小啊。那从 0.5 毫米的这么小的水母呢，到这个 giant 很巨大的这个叫月前水母啊，那它可以 measure 就是它的大小，那 measure 这个字后面就直接加它的尺寸，所以它这些尺寸怎么样？是 up to 2 meters， 可以长达2公尺，而且这是在它的直径部分 in diameter， 然后呢它的重量是超过200公斤啊，所以非常大非常重。
I highly recommend you look up a picture of this dude because it is wild.
Yeah, 大家可以去找一下啊，这个网络上看一下它的这个照片，非常大的水母。
Okay, so while jellyfish are beautiful, they can also be dangerous.
这很简单啊，就是水母它们很美，虽然很美，但是它们也可以是很危险。
Some jellyfish toxins can be deadly to humans. They can kill you, such as those from the box jellyfish and the Australian Irukandji. However, deaths are relatively rare. There's not as many people killed by jellyfish as you think that there should be, considering how many jellyfish there are in the world and considering how many people are stung by jellyfish every year. So are rare given the number, considering the number of jellyfish sting victims every year.
好，那有一些水母的 toxins 就是毒素啊，可以是 deadly to humans， 就是对人类而言是致命的。例如 those 就是指这个 toxins 啊，这些毒素是来自于怎么样？例如来自于这个 the box jellyfish 就是箱型水母，那还有呢澳洲的这个伊鲁康吉水母啊，它们的这个毒素是可以致命的。但是他说死亡啊的案例呢 are relatively rare， 就是死亡是相对来讲是比较稀少的哈，就是跟其他动物所造成的人类死亡来讲，比较之下，被水母蛰死的人是比较稀少的。Given 就是 considering 啊，如果你想到 the number of 这个数量，什么数量呢？就是 jellyfish sting victims every year， 每年被水母蛰伤的这个数量， 换句话说，每年有很多人被水母蛰伤，但是在这么大的数字里面呢，其实死亡是相当稀少的。这样你比较一下就知道，它其实致命率不是那么高。
In any case, it's better to stay out of the way of any jellyfish you may see. It really is better. Just be aware of them and get away from them.
好，所以不管怎么说 in any case 啊，如果有任何你看到任何的这个水母的话呢，你就最好是 stay out of the way of them 啊，就是你就不要挡在他们的路上啊，你就让开就对了。Stay out of the way 就是让开。
You can go swimming with dolphins, no problem, but you definitely want to think twice before swimming with jellyfish. To think twice means not just to think about something 2 times, but to double-check your own judgment.
Yeah, 所以你可以跟海豚一起游泳，但是呢，你一定要 want to think twice， 你一定想要考虑清楚。这句话其实就英文告诉你说你要考虑清楚的意思。好，在你跟水母一起游泳之前呢，你要考虑清楚。
Okay, that's all we have for you on jellyfish, but we have some questions for you to consider. Number 1 of which is, what does the author mean by everything is for the best in the first paragraph?
第一段里面作者所说的一切都是最好的安排，这句话是什么意思？
The answer is B. Jellyfish live just fine with what they naturally have.
所以答案是 B， 水母它天生的样子呢，其实它就活得好好的。
And number 2, how long have jellyfish lived on our planet?
水母已经居住在地球上多久了呢？
The answer is B, more than 500 million years.
答案是 B， 超过了5亿年。
Number 3, which of the following statements about jellyfish stings is true?
下列哪一项关于水母蛰伤的叙述是正确的？
The answer is D. They are rarely fatal, but people should watch out for them.
答案是 D， 这些蛰伤很少是致命的，但人们应该要小心。
And number 4, which of the following topics about jellyfish is not mentioned in the reading?
下列哪一个关于水母的话题并没有被提到呢？
The answer is C, their diets. We didn't learn what they eat.
答案是 C， 他们的饮食，这并没有提到。
So that's all we have for you today, but please join us again next time for more Ivy English. Until then, bye-bye.